Hey guys, Brett here again, Focus Fun Fitness. Doing a video today on what I eat in a day, so what Brett eats in a day. I've had that question posed to me many times over the years as a trainer, so I thought I'd get it out there, give people a good idea, maybe some ways you can start to eat or change up. Before I get into that, I do want to explain, we're all completely different, so you have to figure out what works for you. I will I do take some supplements. I'm not going to get into that because, again, everyone is so different. So I do suggest going to your doctor, getting some blood work done, and figuring out what you're deficient in. Therefore, you'll know what supplements to take. Just make sure they're of a high quality. What I eat in a day. We all change throughout the years, and again, so everyone is so completely different. Maybe, what works for me, which is my diet's more of a paleo primal type of diet, might not work for someone else. They might need something more on the vegan or vegetarian end. I myself have changed many times. In fact, I was some form of a vegetarian or another for over 16 years. The final 7 years, I was a mostly raw vegan, and then I change and adapt to more of how I eat now, which again is more of a paleo primal. So not only is everyone different, we also change through the years. So you got to just keep paying attention to how you're digesting foods and how you feel and what your energy levels are, because you might need to adjust along the way. Okay, now, so what I eat in a day. So I start every day with a big glass of water, so some good clean water, probably about 16 to 20 ounces. That's the first thing I put in my mouth when I wake up. Excuse me, I wake up pretty early because I'm a trainer. So, let's say in the morning, my timeline would be probably breakfast around 4 a.m. or so. My breakfast is typically a smoothie, and then I also have a cup of coffee. I don't believe anything's wrong with coffee. I just have an organic black cup of coffee starting my day. And my smoothie, I will be putting the directions down below, my ingredients that I put in my smoothie every morning. But kind of my base materials are I use water as the liquid. You can use a nut milk or a juice or whatever. I just tend to use water. I don't need that many calories in the morning. So kind of my bases here. I have a hemp protein, kind of for a vegetable protein. So that's just organic hemp, no other ingredients. I also do a bone broth protein for that good glycine amino acids and the connective tissue amino acids. Fantastic, especially for athletes or maybe some older people that have a lot of joint issues. It's really good to get bone broth in your diet. And if you don't want to make bone broth, you can go with the powder, which will really help. So for my greens in my smoothie, I typically do an organic spirulina. That's a blue-green algae loaded with chlorophyll and all kinds of, micronutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, and you get a lot of your greens from that. And then for my fat in my smoothie, I go with just a raw organic coconut oil, unrefined. So I do about a tablespoon and a half of that. I do about a half a cup of berries, so that's the fruit that goes in my smoothie. I do about 2 cups of some kind of leafy green vegetable. I like to change that up. Usually that would be seasonal, or if all is available, I'll just switch between, romaine, spinach, kale, chard. Just keep changing it up. They all have different nutrients. Then I like to throw a couple other vegetables in there, whether it's radishes or carrots or peppers or something. Again, whatever's in season. And then I just do a little tiny bit, maybe like a half a teaspoon of local honey. Important if you're going to do honey to make it local. That will help you with, especially if you have allergies, it'll help you a lot. Absorbs a lot of the local pollens and that's in your area. So that's a good thing. So that's pretty much in my smoothie. Just put some water and some ice in that, blend it up. So then a couple hours later, I'll have my first snack, which for me is bone broth. So I make my own bone broth, and I usually have about a cup of that. So that would probably be like around 9 o'clock or so, 8:30, 9 o'clock, I have some bone broth. And then for lunch is typically when I get my salad in. So again, different type of lettuces, I'll always change that up, whatever the local farmer's market has, because that's where I get most of my produce. I grow some of it myself too, but that's another thing. I highly suggest growing your own vegetables if you can. And if you don't have much space, at least have an herb garden going, because herb is not a load of nutrients, great for heavy metal detoxification and stuff, but it just makes your food taste so much better. Every meal I have every day, I'm cutting fresh herbs and putting it on there, even in my smoothie. So especially if your diet's a little more limited and you're just new to that limited diet, this will help a lot with flavors as well, your herbs. So I highly suggest everyone at least grow some fresh herbs. So lunch, yeah, that would be my salad. Then I would put some different mixed vegetables in that. So that's typically always raw. And then I do about a deck of cards size of meat with lunch, just to give you an idea of the kind of the size. That's always different. I do different meats constantly every day just to change it up. You know, I like to get seafood a couple times in a week, typically raw. I like to get some kind of organ meat in once a week. You know, I like to get wild game as well as just your normal chickens. Always skin on, bone in. Very important. I'll get into that later on a different video why that is, but that has to do with also the glycine amino acid. So yeah, so you know your wild games like your quail, your venison, your elk, you know, buffalo. You know, I'll do normal grass-fed beef. I'll do lamb. So just constantly changing up, just different meat every day. Typically, I will when I make my dinner, I'll do 2 servings of meat and save 1 serving for the next day for lunch. So that's my typical lunch. If I do need a snack between lunch and dinner, it's usually just a handful of raw nuts or maybe some sprouted seeds or something. And it's just some cut up vegetables. Dinner, I will either go with raw vegetables with some olive oil on it, a little bit of sea salt, or I will just lightly steam my vegetables. That's also during my salad and lunch. I have some good, you know, raw organic cold press olive oil that I put onto my salad. I prefer olive oil raw because it has a really low smoke point, so it burns really easy. I cook more with animal fats, you know. So with dinner, if I'm sauteing some vegetables, or I might just steam them and pour some animal fats over the top of that, whether that's ghee or duck fat. I use those 2 types a lot. Sometimes bacon fat. And so yeah, dinner. So I go a little bit larger size of the meat. So deck of cards and probably another third size of that. So you're looking usually about 0.6 of a pound. I typically do in my size of meat for dinner. And then if I want a little dessert after, I might just do some cut up apples that I dip into some almond butter. There's another dessert I like to do with some ripe avocado, where I blend that up with some raw cacao and maybe a little bit of that local honey and a little bit of nut milk to make like a kind of a superfood chocolate mousse. But that kind of, I just pay attention to how my digestion is that day, or if I'm even having those hunger pains at that point, whether I have the dessert or not after. And so other than that, you know, I try to drink about 150 ounces or if not more a day in water. Water is very essential. I believe everyone needs at least 100 ounces in your day, depending on how active you are. I'm very active, so I typically want to go a lot more than that. So that's pretty much what I eat in a day. And like I said, I will put the recipe to my smoothie down below. You know, there's 100 different options of what you can do with your smoothie. If you're someone who's trying to gain some muscle mass, you'd be better off doing your smoothie within 30 minutes after working out. I don't have that goal. I'm fine with my size, so I just do my smoothie in the morning because it's easy and I get a good load of nutrients before my day starts. Yeah, as you probably noticed, I don't do any grains or anything. So yeah, mostly just vegetables and meat after that morning smoothie, a little bit of nuts. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's what I eat in a day. Maybe that gave you some ideas how to change things up for you. I'll probably do another video later on some good day choices for vegetarians, since I was one for so long, and it's not easy to get all your nutrients, especially amino acids, as a vegetarian, and as well as your fats. So I give some ideas on that as well. Okay, guys, if you like what you hear, please subscribe below, and as always, stay focused and have fun. Bye.